somewhere over Ukraine, early 2026. The air raid sirens scream, but this time the warning is almost meaningless. There is no long swarm, no buzzing drones filling the sky for hours. There is only speed, a sudden flash on radar screens, a ballistic-like trajectory that doesn't behave like a cruise missile. Operators stare in disbelief. By the time tracking systems confirm what it is, the missile is already in its terminal phase. This is not a Geran. This is not Kalibr. This is something older, heavier, faster, and far more destructive. Russia's Kh-22 has entered the battlespace, and this time it is appearing near Kyiv. The Kh-22 is not a new weapon. That is precisely why its appearance is so alarming. Designed during the Cold War to kill NATO aircraft carriers, this missile was never meant for limited regional wars. It was built for total war scenarios, for overwhelming Western naval task forces, for punching through layered air defenses with raw speed and mass. And now, Russia is bringing it back, not as a relic, but as a strategic message. From Moscow's perspective, the Kh-22 serves a very specific role. It is not about precision. It is not about minimizing damage. It is about certainty. A Kh-22 travels at speeds approaching Mach 4 to Mach 5 in its terminal dive. It descends steeply, almost like a ballistic missile, leaving defenders with seconds, not minutes, to react. Most air defense systems were never designed to handle something like this consistently, especially when launches are limited and unpredictable. Ukraine's air defense network is one of the densest in the world. Patriot, NASAMS, Iris-T, S-300 variants, radar pickets, and Western command integration all form a complex shield. Against drones and subsonic cruise missiles, this system performs exceptionally well. But the Kh-22 exists outside that comfort zone. Its speed, altitude profile, and massive radar signature create a paradox. It is easy to see, but extremely hard to stop. The Kh-22 carries a warhead weighing nearly a full ton. Even without perfect accuracy, its destructive radius is enormous. When it hits, it doesn't just destroy a building, it reshapes the area around it. Shockwaves shatter windows kilometers away. Reinforced concrete structures collapse. Underground infrastructure takes damage that is difficult to repair. This is not a surgical weapon. It is a blunt instrument, and Russia knows exactly when to use it. What makes this appearance near Kyiv particularly significant is timing. Russia has spent months saturating Ukraine with drones and cheaper cruise missiles. Air defense crews are exhausted. Interceptor stocks are under constant pressure. NATO is already struggling to maintain a steady flow of missiles. And now, into this environment, Russia introduces a weapon that demands the highest-end interceptors to even attempt to shoot down. A single Patriot PAC-3 interceptor costs several $1 million. A Kh-22 launch forces defenders into a brutal decision: fire multiple interceptors and risk wasting scarce resources, or accept the hit. This is not accidental. It is economic warfare layered on top of kinetic warfare. Russia is forcing Ukraine and NATO to defend against worst-case scenarios every single night. From a strategic standpoint, the Kh-22 blurs the line between conventional and strategic signaling. Its flight profile resembles weapons associated with nuclear delivery systems. Every launch triggers heightened alertness, not just in Ukraine, but across NATO command centers. Poland watches closely, Romania tracks trajectories, NATO AWACS aircraft adjust patrols. Each launch increases the risk of miscalculation, and Russia understands the psychological weight of that perfectly. NATO was not ready for this reintroduction. For years, Western planning focused on modern Russian systems, hypersonics, stealth cruise missiles, drones, and electronic warfare. The assumption was that older Soviet-era weapons would gradually fade from relevance. Instead, Russia is demonstrating that legacy systems, when used creatively, can still dominate modern battlefields. The Kh-22 does not rely on stealth. It does not rely on networked targeting updates. It relies on physics, speed, mass, kinetic energy. In an era where air defense is optimized for small, smart, and numerous threats, a fast and heavy missile becomes a nightmare scenario. Radar operators see it clearly, but clarity does not equal control. There is also an industrial message embedded here. Russia can afford to use these missiles. Stocks exist. Production lines, while limited, are active. Meanwhile, NATO's Interceptor production struggles to keep pace even with drone warfare. Every Kh-22 launch forces Western planners to confront an uncomfortable truth. High-end air defense systems were never designed for prolonged high-intensity economic attrition. For Ukraine, the challenge is existential. Defending Kyiv is not just about protecting infrastructure, it is about maintaining morale, governance, and international confidence. A successful strike near the capital sends shockwaves far beyond the physical damage. It becomes a symbol, a reminder that even the most protected areas are not immune. Russia is not using the Kh-22 randomly. It appears selectively, mixed into broader strike packages. Drones first, decoys second, electronic warfare to degrade sensors, and then, occasionally, a Kh-22, forcing defenders to escalate their response. This layered approach maximizes stress on the system. It ensures that every defense decision carries long-term consequences. NATO's dilemma is clear. There is no quick fix. Short-range guns cannot stop a Kh-22. Manpads are irrelevant. Even advanced SAM systems face steep engagement challenges. Developing new interceptors takes years. Scaling production takes even longer. And Russia is operating in the present. This is why NATO's reaction has been cautious, almost muted. Public statements avoid specifics. Behind closed doors, however, emergency assessments are underway. Radar gaps are being analyzed. Interceptor allocation is being rebalanced. But all of this happens under pressure, and pressure favors the attacker. The Kh-22's appearance also reinforces a broader trend in this war. Russia is not chasing technological perfection, it is chasing sufficiency at scale. Drones overwhelm volume, cruise missiles probe defenses, legacy heavy weapons deliver shock. Together, they create a layered threat environment that NATO was never designed to counter simultaneously over long periods. From Moscow's viewpoint, this is strategic efficiency. Why rely solely on expensive next-generation weapons when older systems can still impose massive costs? Why exhaust hypersonic inventories when a Kh-22 can force the same defensive response? This is not desperation, it is calculation. For NATO, the lesson is uncomfortable. Air dominance is no longer guaranteed by sophistication alone. It requires volume, sustainability, and industrial depth. Russia has shown it is willing to use every tool available, old and new, to exploit Western weaknesses. As the conflict moves deeper into 2026, the Kh-22's return signals a shift. The war is no longer just about territory, it is about endurance, about who can sustain pressure longer, about who can afford to defend every night without collapsing economically or politically. Kyiv remains standing, Ukraine continues to fight, NATO continues to support. But the appearance of the Kh-22 is a reminder that escalation doesn't always look like something new. Sometimes it looks like something old, brought back at exactly the wrong moment. And that is why NATO was not ready. Because this missile was never supposed to come back. And yet, here it is. If you want deep, daily analysis of the weapons, strategies, and industrial realities shaping this war, not headlines, not hype, subscribe now and stay ahead of the battlefield.